The family that prays together stays together. My name is Isaiah Collins. I'm a seminarian of the Congregation of Holy Cross. Today we're going to talk about a very important saint in our church, especially in the field of academia, and this is none other than Saint Bonaventure. Saint Bonaventure was born in the year 12,201 in Italy, Sicily, and this was 40 years after the birth of Saint Francis of Assisi. This name Bonaventure, we get to hear about it when he was a child. It was his nickname when St. Francis of Assisi was holding him in his arms. And then St. Bonaventure, his original name was Giovanni. So young Giovanni was going to die. And St. Francis of Assisi said Bonaventura, which means good things are to come. So that's why his name, his nickname became Bonaventure. And we get to see the name Bonaventure again when he was joining the seminary. In honor of his nickname of St. Francis also, when he was joining the Franciscan order, he took the name Bonaventure in respect to this name. And when he was there, he studied in Paris with very serious theologians of the church. These are the figures such as St. Thomas Aquinas, whom they studied a lot in philosophy and the theology. And there's this particular thing which Saint Bonaventure used to emphasize a lot. He used to say that knowing all without knowing God is knowing nothing, and knowing God and knowing nothing else is knowing everything. And so this is a very important thing that Saint Bonaventure talks about in his particular theology. The other thing Saint Bonaventure we can talk about him is when he was with Saint Thomas Aquinas studying in Paris. He used to talk about what we call in Latin the via negativa, the knowing of a certain truth by knowing its objection first. Then by understanding the objection to a certain truth and finding appropriate answers to the objections, we can therefore know this truth with its entirety. And I can relate this to in a way to a modern way of knowing things. By first getting to know the criticisms about something and responding to the object of the criticism and responding to the criticism itself about the object, we'll get to know that and we'll get to understand better the object that we are trying to grasp. And that's how St. Bonaventure used to understand his theology. First of all, in his theology, you'll get to hear the objections about God and about Christianity. So St. Bonaventure and St. Thomas Aquinas used to come up with the responses to these objections, and that's how you will see it later led to the formation of the Summa Theologica by St. Thomas Aquinas. This is the summation of all the truths, and also the Summa Contra Gentiles, the sum against the Gentiles teaching of the church. And the other thing that hits especially with St. Bonaventure is what we talk about when we discuss what is truth. And critics used to say about the church that colleges should be freed to pursue the truth independent from the truth that the church establishes. So here we get to see that they are trying to establish the notion that there is a truth that is different from God. And with his notion that when you know everything without God, knowing everything without God is knowing nothing, he emphasized that in order to be with the truth, you have to know God. And there's this saying that used to go around about Saint Bonaventure. It used to say that he used to say that a theologian, a good theologian, is a better scientist than a scientist himself who does not know God, because it is true, according to Saint Bonaventure, if you know God, if you know theology, you know better, you have better science than the person who does not know the theology but knows this practical science. And he used to say that science is usually ahead of, not science, theology is usually ahead of the secular science. And science, the human knowledge that we have, tries to catch up with the knowledge that that is revealed from God. In short, that will be like saying that faith is ahead of reason. And reason is just human reasoning, human knowledge trying to catch up with the knowledge that is brought about by faith. And it is true in our day and age, especially when you're talking about the modern world, the way mankind has come to see that now we can find the truth without God. Let me tell you, there is no other truth that can be sought without God. There is no truth that can be found without God. And all the truth that we have come about with, all the scientific proofs, are all in line with truth. And let me tell you, my dear brothers and sisters, once again, that if you seek to know what is true, if you seek to know what is good, and if you seek to know what is beautiful, it only lies in God. A world at prayer is a world at peace.